Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we're going to be doing something extremely exciting. At least I'm very excited for it. But I wanted to do a video using some of the cult favorite products for when I started YouTube back in 2011. I feel like these products were in all of the YouTubers' collections, and there honestly wasn't that many YouTubers back in 2011, and there wasn't a lot of makeup products out on the market either. So I feel like everyone had like the same like cult favorite products, and a lot of these products were my favorites as well, and a lot of them I still own. So I thought it'd be fun to like go ahead and do my face using these products, kind of like how I used to do my makeup back then, and see if these products are still good as they were, since literally everyone raved about them. Like if you look up like 2011 favorites, everyone will have like the same products in their videos. It's crazy to think that I've been on YouTube for like 6 years and it's changed so much, and there's just like so much makeup now. It's insane. I have my little box full of some throwback goodies, so let's go ahead and get started. So I'm kind of gonna do my makeup how I used to do it as well, and I always used to start with my face. You guys know now I usually do my eyes first, but my first product I'm gonna be using is a primer. And for primer, I had two favorites. This was like my very first primer ever, and it's the Benefit POREFESSIONAL primer. This was a really good one back in the day, and I loved how like silky smooth it made my skin feel. So we'll be using this one today. Another one that I used to love is the Makeup Forever HD, and I used the green one. They like changed the packaging, but that one was also a favorite of mine. Alright, so I'm going to put on my POREFESSIONAL, and I just rub this in between my fingers and just apply it mostly to my T-zone and then around my entire face. It's just like so silky smooth. Alright, next we are going to do a foundation, and this one is one of my first favorite foundations. This one is from Revlon, and it is the Revlon Color Stay Foundation. I'm sure a lot of you guys have tried this. Now, I haven't had this in a long time, but I used to swear by this stuff and use it all the time. I'm not sure why I stopped, but I do notice that they did change the packaging, so I'm hoping the formula is still the same. But I think Color Stay used to just be a pour out bottle, and now they have a pump, which is awesome. But I remember the stuff used to be the bomb, and it was like so cheap. So I got the combination oily version, and I got the shade 110 Ivory. And I'm just gonna pump a couple pumps on my hand. Well, like a pump and a half on my hand, and then use my Sigma F80 brush to blend that onto the skin. I forgot this stuff has a really good coverage. So yeah, it's actually looking really nice. I feel like it's leaving a little bit of brush streaks with my brush for some reason, so I am going to do another coat of it. But yeah, it looks really good so far. Another foundation I used to really like, but they discontinued it, was the CoverGirl Nature Luxe. I feel like they discontinued that one pretty quickly, but it was like a squeezy tube bottle, and it had like a cream and green packaging. But everyone used to talk about that one as well. So we're just gonna, you know, put a ton of foundation on because that's what I used to do. I just wanted everything covered. This actually looks really nice. Like I might have to actually start using this stuff again because I forgot how good it was. Moving on, I'll go ahead and do my eyes now before my concealer. So we are bringing back the Urban Decay Naked Palette. This was like my first or second eyeshadow purchase. I think it might have been my second one. I think my first one was the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette, and this one came out and like everyone had to have it. And I'm pretty sure I used this brush with it as well, but I feel like there's not a good crease brush with this, so I'm going to use one of my crease brushes. And this is a brand new Naked palette because mine is like, it needed to be thrown away because it was probably expired, and it had been through so much. Like the mirror was completely broken. I had taken it out, and I had hit pan on a lot of the shades, but I used to be so obsessed with this palette, and today I don't know if I would be as obsessed with it just because there's only like 2 matte shades in the whole palette, but I loved this. So I'm gonna do like one of my go-to looks with this palette. But first, we need to prime our eyes, and I did always use the Urban Decay Primer Potion. I believe the Primer Potion actually came with the palette back in the day. This one is not the original. This one is actually a shade. This one is the Enigma one. But we are gonna just use this today as my primer because I've always been using primer since day one. So first color I'm gonna take is Naked, and that is this medium brown shade. I'm gonna use that in my crease. I also used to be extremely bad at eyeshadow when I first started my channel. I feel like it never was blended, but I'll make sure to blend it for you guys today. Alright, next I'm going to take Buck, this dark brown, and put that in my outer corner. And then I'm going to take Hustle right here and do that in my outer corner as well. And then we're going to take my favorite color in the palette, which is Sin. This color is just beautiful, and I'm going to place that on my lid. I feel like it's not as vibrant as I remember it, so I might add a little bit of setting spray to that to make it even more vibrant. So overall, I still love the Naked palette, and I would definitely reach for it for a really nice, natural, easy look. I mean, the shadows are not like completely on par with some of the newer stuff that's out there. I feel like some of them were just a little bit harder to blend, and like I said, I wish it had a couple more mattes in the palette, but I'll always love this palette, and it's always going to have a place in my heart. Alright, so next I'm going to do some eyeliner. Now, honestly, the eyeliner that I use the most is probably the Urban Decay Perversion Black Liner, and I don't have that one, so I'm literally just going to be using some Maybelline liner right now. I wish I had the Urban Decay, but I was like not prepped for this video, so I pretty much always did black eyeliner. Oh man, this stuff is really creamy. And I brought it about halfway, and then I would like smudge it out. I've always done my eyeliner like halfway since high school because I was always told to only do it halfway because otherwise your eyes look really small. Alright, the eyeliner went a little overboard. I was not expecting that Maybelline liner to be like so creamy. So I feel like that's kind of how I did my eyes in the beginning, but like worse. But I feel like, for some reason I feel like I should be using like winged eyeliner, but I don't think I did winged eyeliner until like later, like 2013 maybe, when it was huge. So I'm gonna move on to concealer. The cult favorite concealer, if you guys can guess, is MAC Pro Longwear Concealer. I feel like this was like the Tarte Shape Tape of its time. Everyone used this and was obsessed with it, and I'm in the shade NW15. So I believe I used to like pump this on my hand and then put it under my eyes. Once again, I have no idea why I stopped using this because I used to be obsessed with it and used it for like, I probably used it for like three or 4 years. I always used my finger to apply it. So let's do this. For some reason I remember this stuff being like super thick, but it's actually not bad. I honestly don't think I even used that much back in the day. I think I put too much on because I remember highlighting was like not a thing, so I pretty much just did it in like a little swoosh underneath my eyes. Alright, next we are going to do some powder. So I think the first one that I used to use was from MAC, and it's the Mineralized Skin Finish Natural and Light. I also really like the Makeup Forever HD powder. So I'm just going to go ahead and set my face with this stuff, and it does add just a little bit of color as well. And I also like just applied it a little bit under my eyes to make my concealer not so sticky. Pretty much everyone used to use this stuff a lot I also used touch-up powder a lot, like little blotting powder, because I was really oily. And I would use the Maybelline Dream Matte. I think the Dream Matte powder is what I used to use, but they don't make that anymore either. I feel like they get rid of everything. And they also changed the packaging of these mineralized skin finishes too. So for mascara, I would try out my new mascaras all the time. I loved drugstore mascaras. Today I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Voluminous Original. I feel like a lot of people love this one and it's been around for a while. Mine has a glittery lid because L'Oreal sent me this one, but I used to use this one a lot. I also remember like CoverGirl Lash Blast used to be a big one, and the Maybelline The Falsies used to be huge as well, but this is the one that I have, so we'll be using this one today. And I always forget how good this stuff is. It's just like a classic. I feel like back in the old YouTube days, no one really wore falsies that much. And now it's like all everyone wears. Alright, the lashes are done. Next, I'm going to do my brows, and I'm really scared for this part. So I actually used to use eyeshadow for my like brow powder, and that's like all I did. And then eventually I did start using the Benefit Skinny Brow. I really like that stuff. But I literally just used eyeshadow. So, let's see how this goes. Let me grab, I'm going to use some eyeshadow from my Naked palette. I'm going to be using the shade Naked for my eyebrows. Let's see if this color will be good. And I would just like, kind of just fill it in, really. I like hated like my brows looking big, so I would just try to do them as natural as possible. Alright, I think that's as good as it's going to get. I don't really love it. I feel like I need more definition, but it is nice if you just want like a natural eyebrow. It doesn't look horrible. But that's kind of what I used to do, just use eyeshadow from my palettes to do my brows. Right, so next we are going to do some bronzer, and of course I will be using today, I actually have like a pan of it, but this is NARS Laguna bronzer, and everyone used to be obsessed with this back in the day, and I actually have not used this in a long time, and I used to be awful at bronzer. I hated, like, I don't know, I just did not like having color to my cheeks, so I really didn't use a lot, but I'm just gonna do my like normal bronzer today. So I'm just gonna dip into Laguna and just do my bronze. I would like go and do my bronzer and then like go over it with so much powder. I don't know what was my problem. And then I would go back in with my Mineralized Skin Finish and just like buff that out a lot. I feel like the bronzer, the color looks good. I don't think it would be like a favorite of mine anymore. I just feel like it's not as easily blendable as the bronzers that are on the market now. Like, this one's just a little bit hard to blend in my opinion. Alright, and then blush, I'm also going to be using a NARS blush in Orgasm, of course, this like peachy gold. So, we're going to dip our brush into that and just barely touch that onto the cheeks. And I got a little too much. And then I have like a highlighter. This is actually a discontinued product, but I've kept it around. It's like one of my all-time favorites. I've been highlighting since the day I started YouTube. I always have loved highlighter, even before it became a trend. And one of my all-time go-to products, this is way discontinued, but this is from MAC, and this is in a different packaging. I put it in this Riri packaging because it was prettier than the other MAC packaging, but this is the MAC Blonde MSF. And it is so pretty. They had like a blonde, brunette, and redhead, and I use this as kind of like my blush and my highlight. I just like swirled my brush around in there. I used a lot and just went to town basically. Such a pretty color. And I didn't highlight my nose or anything, just my cheeks and a little bit on my brow bone. Super pretty. They need to like bring this back. It's so gorgeous. And last but not least is lips, and I will of course be using a MAC lipstick, and I'm going to be using the shade Cream Cup. This was like my very first MAC lipstick ever. It's just a little nub, and I'm just going to apply that right onto my lips, no lip liner or anything. I loved pink lipstick. Cream Cup was one of my faves, also Angel. I also loved Snob and Saint Germain. I loved pastel pink. Okay, so here is the finished makeup. This is probably a lot better than I would have used to do it. Overall, it looks pretty decent. I'd have to say the foundation, I'm definitely excited about rediscovering that again. I definitely want to use it more. I think it's something I'm really going to be liking a lot, and I totally forgot about it. As far as the Naked palette goes, like I said earlier, it's always going to have a place in my heart, and it's definitely something I could use for like an everyday work look, just something easy and quick. But I mean, it's definitely not as awesome as some of the newer palettes out there on the market. For the concealer, I think I would definitely have to try it again with using like an under eye setting powder, because I feel like I don't like it with just like my regular powder, and I would like to try it again with something else and see how it does. But I mean, it looks nice. It's not like, it doesn't feel sticky, or it feels like nothing's there. The mascara is awesome, definitely a yes. As far as using eyeshadow for brows, I mean, it does work, but I like my brows in this day and age to be a little more fuller and just like defined, and these make them a little bit more soft and natural looking, which isn't bad at all. But I don't know, it's decent. It's not bad, but it's just not like my favorite way of putting on my brows. Also, the bronzer, I don't know, I thought I would like it, but honestly, I think it looks a little muddy on my face, and it was a little bit hard to blend out. I feel like NARS used to be so popular back in the day, and I feel like, I don't know, I don't use their products as much because I feel like they're a little bit hard to blend. Orgasm blush though does look really pretty, and I do like the blushes from NARS. Also the blonde mineralized skin finish from MAC, still love that, it's beautiful. And then as far as my lipstick goes, which is the MAC Cream Cup, this looks so much more pink than I remember it. It's probably not really something I would go for it nowadays. I like a little more neutral nude lips, and this is so crazy that this used to be like my nude lip, because this just looks really bright to me. But I used to wear this all the time. It's crazy. And then the mineralized skin finish, I'm definitely going to keep using that. I think it's a nice like little finishing powder to not make your face look super matte or anything. So overall, this was really fun to kind of like use all of my throwback products that used to be cult favorites on YouTube. Let me know down below some of your like cult favorite products from back in the day, and if you did watch YouTube videos back in 2011 still, I would love to know. But that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye guys.
We